Howdy, 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 my name's Anachi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read Lackadaisy. Sort of. I want to apologize for there not being an episode last week. When it came time to record it, I realized I'm really very nervous about it, because it's been so long since I've done an episode of Let's Read Lackadaisy that I don't really remember the voices anymore, and I was concerned I wouldn't be able to do any of them. So, in the meantime, for the sake of there still being an episode of Let's Read Lackadaisy, I was going to go through some of the stuff in the gallery. And I was thinking maybe do some of the illustrations, some of the mini comics, some of the previews. I know I've done some of the mini comics. I do not recall which ones. All I know is I definitely did this one here with the waffles. But other than, I think I may have done this one. But if I don't know. Let's just go to this. So, let's see. It would appear this is how Freckle, Rocky, and Mitzi were going to look at one point. Let's see. I was in the middle of working on some very serious-minded digital painting when, for whatever reason, I felt I needed to take a break from it to paint something lighthearted and fun. What I ended up with was a gang of jazz-inspired cats, and this is how I somewhat inadvertently got started on Lackadaisy. It's Mitzi, Freckle, and Rocky, but early incarnations of their designs. They look somewhat different now that I've had a chance to develop the characters further. Yeah, Mitzi definitely looks different. Rocky got, like, taller and skinnier, and like, in this one, he looks they look super capable, and they're super not. Let's see. And that was Lackadaisy Flim Flam. Now, Lackadaisy Wingding, as they're in the car, Mitzi's starting to look like she does. Freckle looks much more like a badass than he is. What's to become of St. Louis? This was originally meant to be a front-page web graphic, but I ditched the idea. There were too many things about the image I ended up being unhappy with. It was my first serious attempt at painting a car, though, and I enjoyed that aspect of it. It came out great. I tend to be much too restricted to the organic when it comes to art. Gotta fix that. The vehicle is based on the Model A Ford of the late 1920s. Rocky, Freckle, and Mitzi again. This is why cats shouldn't be allowed to drive. I mean, they're doing alright. Click. Lackadaisy Sockdolager. Inhibition is not one of Rocky's strong points. This was a comic panel I decided to color while I lingered around my office in the wee hours of morning waiting for a game design meeting to take place. Ooh, game design meeting. Nice. Lackadaisy Voodoo. I was anxious to do some proper artwork involving Mordecai, Seraphine, and Nico from the Marigold Gang since I hadn't yet done so. Much fun was had. That's not Seraphine's usual getup. I suppose she can't pass up the opportunity to get dolled up for a special occasion, though. So she's dressed up as her personal version of a voodoo mambo. Let's see, so looks like we're at this fourth one. So 4 more, and that'll be good for the illustrations. Boop. In 2006? Whoa, wow. She's been doing this for 13 years? Wow. I don't want to say that was fast, because I didn't even know this existed until, like, 2014. But still, wow. Snow! Winter Time. A winter-themed image done for the holiday season of 2006 to 2007. I ran a bit short on time with this one and ended up taking it with me while I traveled. It was drawn in pencil, but then colored on my laptop with a Wacom tablet. Wacom! Not an ideal situation, but definitely something of an adventure. The ribbon was intended to accommodate an inscription, one that apparently never materialized. Okay. Lackadaisy Nouveau. Just a little Art Nouveau influenced painting of Mitzi. This was originally part of a sketch that I'd done for a poster style image I was planning. The poster layout is being reworked, but I like this part of the original concept, so I separated it out and added some soft coloring to make a small standalone picture of it. Alright, cool. I like how she's holding the wine like the fancy way with the underhand. I don't know what holding the wine glass like that is called, but that's how I hold them whenever I get the chance to hold a glass that's shaped like that, even if it's just water. Also, this is adorable. Okay, let's get to work. Let's see, snip, snip. Butterfly. Ah, there's a bug on your face. Hold still, I'll get it. Did he just smack him with the hedge clippers? Ah! You're welcome. You're welcome. Ah! Lackadaisy butterfly. I often wish I could at least colorize one panel per comic page, but updates are slow enough as it is, and so it seems largely unreasonable to attempt to do so. Spring has an intoxicating effect that tends to make me want to paint though, so I decided to do a special little non-canon strip that would let me incorporate some color. Little Roxy, like usual, is ever so helpful. There are versions of the painted portion available in the wallpaper section, you know, in case you prefer the artwork sans butterfly smashing. Yeah, okay, how many is that? Okay, one more for this section. Oh, wow. It was beginning to bother me that I didn't have any recent full color images of all the Lackadaisy crew. Figuring out how to fit them all into one image was a bit of an ordeal, but I think the playing card game turned out to be a reasonable compositional choice in the end. This was rendered in pencil first and painted in Photoshop with a tablet and with the aid of many, many cups of tea and coffee. Characters Mitzi, Rocky, Wick, Freckle, Ivy, and Victor. An image of the cards and the pendant of the background can be viewed here. So let's see. Mitzi's the queen, Rocky's the ace, Wick is the 2, Freckle's the 3, Ivy's the 4, and Victor's the 5. I don't know why I would have thought that Rocky would be the jack. I just feel like he's not really an ace in the hole, but I didn't make the comic, and Rocky's my favorite character anyway, so, you know, details. Lackadaisy Card Shock. Okay, so let's check out some of this here early concept art, though probably all of it, to be honest. Let's see, Rocky Rakabi. Still got that tie, though, no matter what. The second picture here is just, like, recklessly slick. But, crazy voodoo. Early did I just see the word eyebrow somewhere? Oh yeah, okay, there it is. Early design work for Rocky. His looks have changed a little bit since I first drew this. His eyebrows are even more freakishly out of control now. He's actually a character I invented years ago while I was in junior high school, but the purpose of existence at that point was pretty ambiguous. Of course he looked dramatically different then, too. I'll have to dig up some of that artwork sometime. It'd be worth a laugh. Let's see, what else we got? Calvin Freckle McMurray. Well, he is his cousin or something, so... He's got a knife, and a shovel, and a Tommy gun, and suspenders. Mom? Freckle's original design sheet. His looks and much of his personality are based on a little orange friend of mine who also happens to be named Calvin. Photos here. Well, obviously we gotta see those. New window. Aw. Maybe she took them down because I think that cat passed away. So I guess it will make sense if she took those down. And either that or the website no longer exists. I'm convinced the world will be a better place if more people wore trench coats and fedoras. An Irish brogue doesn't hurt either. Maybe in a new tab? Yeah, it's gone. Next up, Ms. Mitzi May. She definitely changed throughout the years. I like this third one, the one that's in color. It looks like really, really smug, like there's probably a gun in that fur coat somewhere. I never really thought about what her legs look like. Like, I never really put any thought into the fact that she's a cat wearing heels. I never thought about it. Also, a Barella 635. Beretta. I said Barella, didn't I? She's a wonderful excuse for me to goof around with the clothing fashions of the 1920s and early 30s. A number of people seem to pick up Mae West vibes from her, but I think Clara Bow may have had something to do with it too. Being an unabashedly curvy as she wasn't in style in the 20s, when many women had tried to look as lithe and boyish as possible, but I guess she's not terribly concerned about that. Okay. Sedgwick Wick Sable. Do all of their names do the thing? Well, I mean, Calvin McMurray doesn't do the thing. Alliteration! October 1929. That's a fancy-looking pocket watch you got there, Wick. Wick's appearance has changed a little bit since I first drew this, but I think it still conveys the general air of affable affluence I was shooting for. Like Rocky, I imagine he's been a little bit of everywhere, but by very different modes. If he wasn't a cartoon cat person living in my head, I'd probably marry him. Oh, that's nice. Ivy Pepper. I like how she looks in the color picture too. Like this, they all look about the same way she does now, but I really like how this middle one in color looks. That's a swimsuit? Ivy Pepper, Ivy's original design sketches. She's another character based on a feline housemate of mine, probably the chirpiest, most gregarious cat I've ever known. I guess the cutie pie appearance couldn't be helped. The frilly, bulky swimsuit styles from the early part of the 20th century were so wonderfully ridiculous I had to draw one. Okay. Mordecai Heller. I did not know his last name was Heller. Scalpy. Oh, was he just grossed out by there being scalp on the hammer? Yeah, I can understand why that would gross somebody out. Also, his pants are too long for his legs. It wasn't until I started drawing Mordecai that I really developed an understanding of his character. Sketching often serves a dual purpose for me when it comes to design. The visuals and the personality take shape this way. Anyway, I don't think I've ever met a tuxedo cat who didn't take himself much too seriously. That's fair. My friends have 2 tuxedo cats, and the girl tuxedo cat likes to stare at me, and the guy tuxedo cat just, like, runs after, like, he'll stare at you really hard as he's walking past you, and if you move at all, he'll just sprint away. Seraphine Savoy. Bar, M1918 sawed-off barrel. Oh. Jazz hands! I spent some time in New Orleans recently, just before Hurricane Katrina came along, actually. Wow, it has been that long since then. And I can only imagine that Seraphine and her brother are largely the result of that visit. Somehow it's coarse and bawdy, classy and eccentric at all the same time. I must have had those aspects in mind when I started sketching. The bar with a shortened stock and sawed-off barrel is a Clyde Barrow innovation. Though still a clunky monster of a gun, it seems it was surprisingly maneuverable with such modifications. And then we have Nicodeme Nico Savoy, the brother, unless it's the husband. I never thought about it. I think I assumed they were brother and sister. Nico presents a bit of a challenge in that he's not nearly so lithe as most of the other characters. I found I just couldn't get him to look like the strapping young man he was meant to be without broadening his shoulders and giving him a little muscle definition. Overall, I think he's still got similar enough proportions to the rest that he doesn't look terribly out of place, though I'd rather like that he's offset a little bit by his build. I thought a little bit of the big cat influence in the structure of his face was suiting too, as opposed to the more delicate countenance of the domestic feline. Big cat. Lackadaisy Trouble Boys. Am I still in the concept art? Yeah, I'm still in the concept art. Well, I've had an eventful day. If you don't mind, I'm just gonna lay on the floor here and twitch for a while. Maybe it's time I hired you some help. Golly, that's mighty thoughtful of you, Mitzi. He's just out cold. Don't get noseblood on my carpet. Competition is rough in the bootlegging business. A pistol? Rocky, honey, you couldn't shoot the Mississippi River if you were drowning in it. I know, but I look pretty dashing, don't I? Besides, I find I can just wave it around menacingly to certain effect without even... Bam! That would have been hilarious if you hadn't just blown my eardrums out. And Rocky's no Andy Oakley. Fortunately for him, the police academy didn't smile upon his cousin's particular brand of enthusiasm. So, there they are, Miss Mitzi's Trouble Boys. A compilation of a lot of early development vignette sketches. I had a lot of fun with these. I love drawing their little shoes. Lackadaisy After Party. This was a really early sketch and actually quite a misrepresentation of the characters as they are now. Poised as she is, I can only imagine Mitzi would have had some kind of horrified paroxysm waking up on top of Rocky like that. Freckle doesn't look much like Freckle here, but I kind of like the sleeping cat face anyway. I need to know what that word is. A sudden attack or violent expression of a particular emotion or activity. A paroxysm is a sudden recurrence of... Okay, so... She'd have woken up, found herself lying on top of Rocky like that, and then freaked out because she'd have thought she slept with him. Okay. So why do you call him Freckle anyway? Well, when I was a kid and he was still just a kid and I shaved off all the fur off his face, and he had a freckle. Just one. Why on earth did you shave the fur off your baby cousin's face? Because he was too little to stop me. Lackadaisy Tiddlywinks. Mostly just a smattering of nonsense and sketches that went into character development. I was fairly well surrounded by boys growing up. Rocky and Freckles seemed to naturally conjure childhood memories of that boyish dynamic I became familiar with, and all the destructiveness that went along with it. So often the only explanation for ritual torture amounted to, because. That's Tiddlywinks Freckles playing at the bottom. It seemed like the sort of thing that would amuse him. Is Tiddlywinks the thing where you put coins on the ground and use another coin to flip it into the cup? Because that's what it looks like he's doing, and I didn't know that actually had a name. I don't even know how I found out it was a thing. It was just a thing I did as a kid, and I haven't done it since, and now I kind of want to, except now I know that coins are money, and that would feel like a waste of money to do it. So next up, Lackadaisy Slipshot. Are we still in the, gun, sleep, because he couldn't stop me? I guess that's this one. Yep. What's there to say about Dora Sammy Scruggs now that he's fair for the worms and the bugs? There never lived a patron so deeply devout about courting the moonshine day in and day out. What a shame that, when down and out on his luck, he thought he could snitch us out for a buck. Now, it's not my intention to sneer, harp, and grouse, but you sure had it coming, you dirty old louse. My mom just came out of the house. That's real cute, Shakespeare, but you need more syllables. You better let me do the rhyming. Aunt Nina! Fermi? What are you doing to my rhododendrons at this ungodly hour? Picking flowers for you? Lackadaisy Slipshot, an early experiment with comic format that I didn't end up sticking with. This helped me quite a bit in developing Rocky and Freckles' personalities, though. Rocky looks rather odd to me here. I think I didn't quite have a grasp on handling his expressions just yet when I drew this, but the theatric dialogue is quintessential Rocky. That would also be the first time I would put Nina down on paper. It did look like Rocky expressions up until the "but you had it coming, you dirty old louse." That's like angrier than I'm used to seeing Rocky look. Lackadaisy Slipshot indeed. It's Wick and some other people, and Mitzi, and Victor, and Freckle mowing the lawn while being upset, and Victor and some other peoples, and Mordecai, so I guess this was early on when they were still Gallimaufry? A smattering of sketches, mostly rough penciling for comic panels, also included is a color image of Victor Vasco since I never did post a character sheet for him. I suck. No, you don't, Tracy, you're great. But, it unintentionally looks like he's making Freckle mow his lawn at gunpoint here. Whoops! I mean, yeah, kinda. Lackadaisy Balderdash. So we got two more there. You know, Wick, some people would say you're gambling with your life palling around with a gal like Mitzi. What are you talking about? Those ridiculous rumors about what happened to her husband? You're not going to scare me away that easily, Rocky. I've known Mitzi a long time. She wouldn't have killed Atlas directly. I mean, she's probably the type who'd hire someone else to, that is, if she, Oh, that's rich. You're a funny guy, Rocky. You almost had me. Now, if you gentlemen will excuse me, I think I'm going to go up front and tip a few while I wait on Ms. M. I thought this was my sincere smile. Isn't this my sincere smile? Lackadaisy Balderdash. This fits in a little ways into the storyline, and so I drew it completely out of context, but it helped me cement the layout format I use for most of the pages. It's horizontal, which is inconvenient for the web, but somehow I'm much more comfortable with it than I am with vertical layouts. And, let's see if that is the last one. Let's see. Captain Kehoe, how's old Muddy Miss treating you this fine day? Ducky. Glad to hear it. Concerning your cargo, if I could have the where and the when. Tomorrow after midnight, English Cave. And whatever quarrel you have, settle it here. I don't want it on my hands. Hell. You? Again? Come on! Just how much liquor do you need to sustain that Riverside Sandy you call an establishment? All of it! Didn't you swallow enough teeth the last time we talked about this? As a matter of fact, I did, but I bet I still have more than you! Thwack! Lackadaisy Rum Runner. A comic from the early part of the story. Only the bow was visible here, but the boat is a stern wheel diesel tow. I struggle with lettering by hand, and so I gave in and created my own font from my handwriting. This was the first place I used it, though it still had some glitches here and there. There are glitches here. I think I'm getting close to getting the Rocky voice back, but it was a little bit too high-pitched there, I think. but I'm definitely getting close. So I'm glad I did this because it was a good help. I think I should probably save the mini comics for when I do more of the illustrations, since I just burned through all the early concept art, and there's still like of the vast majority of the mini comics. And as far as the comic goes, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, which might actually be a couple of episodes, considering the fact that, according to my bookmarks, the last episode of Lackadaisy that was actually plot was only 7 pages. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it was like a 20-something minute episode, and it was only like these pages here. So if a 20-something minute episode is just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These? This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a few pages of plot, but I'll probably keep doing the gallery just to pass the time until there's more. But in the meantime, this has been Let's Read Lackadaisy. If you liked it, a like and a subscribe would be groovy. If you didn't, you don't need to do either one of those things. And I will put a link in the description to the comic and also the Patreon, which you can also see over here. So, thanks again for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one, whenever that happens to be. Later.